one night of being bad, right?
Yeah, I was actually really good this week.
Yeah. And then you got to get back on your diet, though. The parents in Milan, they like the girls just a tad on the skinny side. It's not too big. No, that's too big. The half of that. This is you.
Everyone, welcome back to another video, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. I want to discuss a topic that is going to be covering some issues that are prevalent in the entertainment industry, and a small disclaimer, we will be discussing sensitive topics like EDs, child star exploitation, and some more sensitive issues. So if you feel that you cannot sit through this video because of these topics, I won't be offended if you choose to exit the conversation. Let's get into it. It's no secret that nepotism dominates almost 99% of the entertainment industry, and I had made a video before about how almost everyone in Hollywood either knows or is related to someone famous. Now, with the topic of nepotism comes a conversation of the toxic Hollywood momager. The momager is the parent that manages and controls their children's careers. Momagers sometimes manage the child star's finances, public appearances, gigs, brand image, basically everything a normal manager or an agent would be in charge of. There are even famous parents that are fathers who have managed their famous children's careers. So people call them dadagers or papagers. For instance, Joe Jackson was the father of Jackson 5, including the legendary MJ and Janet Jackson. He managed the group and also their individual careers for a bit. Matthew Knowles is Beyonce and Solange's father, and he was the manager of Destiny's Child, and he even managed both of his daughters' careers for a while. Also, Zendaya's father moved with her to Hollywood at a young age to manage her career when she started on Disney Channel. Showbiz moms and dads usually jumpstart their children's careers in the entertainment industry so they can become big stars and have successful careers full of longevity and wealth. Without some of these showbiz parents, we may not have been introduced to some of the biggest stars we see today, like Lindsay Lohan, Miley Cyrus, Beyonce, even Britney Spears' mother, who helped elevate both her daughters' careers, which we're gonna get into a little bit more later. The point is that some of these momagers have pure intentions and genuinely want to elevate their children's careers because their children want to, and not because they want to leech off of their fame and money. Unfortunately, that's not always the case when you mix family and business. I'm going to be talking about the toxic Hollywood momagers that exist and the many problematic moments they have when attempting to elevate their children's careers. There are some momagers that want to take advantage of their child's success by controlling their earnings, finances, not to mention overworking them. And some of these parents like the feeling of living vicariously through their children because maybe they didn't get the chance to feel the same amount of wealth or fame that their kid is experiencing. They often force and exploit their child into hectic work schedules that take a toll on their mental and emotional health, just so they can take their revenue and use it. It's a very selfish and narcissistic act on their part because a ton of these child stars, which we have seen before, end up having breakdowns or developing mental illnesses and EDs. My first example is Jennette McCurdy, who I made a video about a while back because she had exposed her deceased mother, Deborah McCurdy, in her book, which is literally titled that she's glad her mom is gone. Jennette McCurdy's mom was the prime example of a toxic, disturbing momager, and she tells all the details in her book as well. Jennette had opened up about her struggles during her Nickelodeon days on the iCarly set, where she actually was battling an ED when the directors were making her character eat tons of food as part of her personality trait. And you know Sam, she loved to eat a lot. According to Jennette, her mother had forced her into acting at a young age because her family didn't have a lot of money, and on top of that, she introduced calorie counting to her at only age 11. Jennette also mentions how her mother would do regular body exams on her in the shower, and she made sure she was under a certain weight or body shape. Jennette eventually developed an ED and was battling with her body image and relationship with food for years. Like most child stars, They struggle with their identity and self-esteem, as Jeanette mentions, because she had been put in the spotlight at a young age to portray a character for years. She had felt like she lost a sense of herself, which is the reason she doesn't rewatch the show or why she hasn't joined the reboot. It was the acting career her mother had forced her into in the first place. She also mentions the only time she was able to find her own identity was after her mother passed away, and she got to feel that weight lifted off her shoulders, that she didn't need to do anything to please her mother anymore. She also mentions that her mother seemed extremely jealous of her fame and almost tried to live vicariously through Jeanette, acting as if they were one person. There are a lot more disturbing details that she opens up about that I can't fit all in this video, but she has done several interviews and podcast episodes opening up about her hard experiences as a child star, including her book that explains everything about her relationship with her mother. Many toxic momagers are just like Jeanette's mother, controlling, overbearing, wanting to be in their children's place, watching their every move, who they date, what they eat, and their body weight. It's micromanaging their entire lives and careers and not allowing the child stars to be kids and have a healthy childhood, but instead immediately pushing them into the spotlight when sometimes they didn't even ask for it, just like in Jeanette's case. My next momager is not as intense as Deborah McCurdy, but she is toxic and she shares similar traits. Yolanda Hadid, who is actually a former model and a current reality TV personality, is one of Hollywood's most toxic momagers. She was on Real Housewives, Beverly Hills, and there are actual clips on the show of her forcing her daughters into insane, unhealthy diets.
Pretty much all the food that we're eating is like a heart attack in a meal. It's like, but it's gonna be so good.
It's good. You can have one night of being bad, right?
Yeah, I was actually really good this week.
Yeah. And then you got to get back on your diet, though. You know, in Paris and Milan, they like the girls just a tad on the skinny side. Artists from being on our diet.
I have to have a bite for good luck, though.
But not too big. No, that's too big. The half of that. Gigi's in charge of her own diet, but to be on your best way to make the right choices. This is you. You know what, Gigi? I think that's it. Yeah. I'll do this. How is it? I can't believe you just did that.
These clips became viral for a bit and exposed how she treats her daughters, who are also models. Her daughters, known as Bella and Gigi Hadid, are also very famous through her momaging tricks. There's an episode where Gigi tells her mother that she feels weak because she only ate half an almond, and Yolanda tells her to eat some more almonds but chew and swallow them very slowly.
I'm feeling really weak. I have like half an almond.
I have a couple of almonds. Chew them really well because your stomach is not.
Okay, love you.
Okay, I love you too, baby. Be safe.
This just shows that she micromanages Gigi's diet, and I understand that she's a model and they need to maintain a certain body image, but it's too intense and it can potentially cause emotional and physical damage to her daughter if she hasn't already. For the sake of her image and career, it's not worth it to jeopardize her child's mental and physical health and possibly her relationship with her. Also, Yolanda had gotten into an altercation with Gigi's baby father, Zayn from One Direction, and it was a pretty big scandal a while ago because allegedly Yolanda barged into his house without his permission to take his daughter, and she claims that he pushed her against a dresser. Gigi wasn't in the country during the altercation, but allegedly Zayn had yelled at her over the phone saying that her mother was crossing boundaries and that she needed to grow a pair. And this prompted the relationship of Zayn and Gigi to end. And while Yolanda is known to be obnoxious and overbearing, I don't think she deserves to be physically harassed if the allegations are true. However, it was rumored that she was trying to take her granddaughter to start getting paparazzi photos and that she wanted to make her granddaughter a star early. Gigi and Zayn have worked really hard over the years to keep their lives private by not posting their daughter's face or even allowing paparazzi near. So I wouldn't doubt that they would argue with Yolanda's overbearing and controlling antics. Another awful thing that momager Yolanda has done was allow Bella to get a nose job at the age of 14. Being a minor, she definitely cannot get that procedure done by herself or without the consent of an adult. So I definitely think Yolanda had approved that. Bella recently opened up about regretting her nose job because she believes she would have grown into her features as an adult. She's half Palestinian and Dutch, and her mother would constantly praise Gigi over Bella, calling her an all-American girl, praising her Eurocentric features, which pressured Bella to conform and get a rhinoplasty at only age 14. Bella had constantly felt pressure after being compared to her sister Gigi, and it didn't help that her mother was displaying favoritism, and being in the spotlight at such a young age, she felt like the uglier sister. And Bella, you're not ugly. You're highly praised and considered conventionally attractive even before her surgery. Like, damn, if she's ugly, then I want to be that kind of ugly too. Anyways, Yolanda never helped with Bella's insecurities. She always referred to Bella as the more exotic looking daughter compared to Gigi. During the show, it was clear that she had pushed Gigi a little harder to pursue modeling over Bella, which just shows that she favored Gigi's conventional looks over Bella's ethnic features. This demonstrates how toxic Yolanda can be as a momager because of the things she forces her daughters to do just to fit into the industry or erase a piece of their ethnicity. Now, Yolanda may not be forcing her daughters to pursue modeling so she can leech off their money, since she has her own and she was the reason that they're famous in the first place. But she's definitely a piece of work when it comes to micromanaging and controlling every aspect of her daughters' lives. Lynn Spears is another famous momager because she actually helps both her daughters, Brittany and Jamie Lynn, jumpstart their careers in the early days. She was never there fully for the ride because eventually she let someone else take over their careers, but she was back when the conservatorship was brought into conversation. According to Brittany, her mother gave her father the idea of the conservatorship, and that's actually what started the decade-long battle. It really wasn't her mother who was leeching off of her finances though, it was her sister and her father, and apparently some other family members. Her former manager Lou Taylor was also involved in the conservatorship, which her entire family had control under her communications, financial decisions, and spendings. And it's unfortunate what happened to Brittany. From what I am seeing, she's doing a bit better these days, so I hope she's feeling a sense of agency over her own life and career. The most famous momager of all time is Miss Kris Jenner herself. I'm pretty sure that they kind of associated that term with her anyways. Like they say, the devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder.
Yeah. Kim, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
Push me out.
Kris Jenner is quite possibly one of the most famous momagers in Hollywood because of her ability to manage all 6 of her children's careers, and they built a whole empire while lacking talent, personality, and any sort of skill. It's incredible to me how she managed to keep her whole family relevant for over a decade, and some might even call them America's royal family, which is super far-fetched. But I do have to give some props to Kris because she seems like a better momager than the previous ones I just listed. She seems like the most tolerable and likable because she doesn't seem as overbearing and controlling and mostly just wants to be included in her kids' antics. The only allegation that I have seen was that she was the one that planned to leak Kim's tape, like some album release, according to Ray J, and obviously that was Kim's previous partner and boyfriend at the time of the tape. He accused Kris of encouraging Kim to release the tape for fame. Kim was not as famous yet because she was known as a celebrity stylist for Paris Hilton and Brandy. And not to mention, Brandy and Kim were best friends, and Brandy and Ray J are actually siblings, so that's how Kim and Ray J got close. It is alleged that Kris was the one who planned to leak it like an album release to launch her daughter's career. And if she did, then it worked out in her favor because a decade later, her family has an entire empire with several large businesses and many shows that we did not ask for. Kris even makes fun of herself for being the mom in Mean Girls that cheers her kids on, even if they're being promiscuous and provocative. She praises them because she knows that's their moneymaker, and she keeps up that brand image. She definitely works hard behind the scenes for every single one of her kids, and even Rob, to make sure that they're relevant and they don't miss an opportunity. She single-handedly opened doors and created opportunities for her daughters to become who we know them as today. So if that doesn't deserve some applause, then I don't know what does. I'm sure she probably will be momagers for her grandkids one day, since most of them are already famous. And Kris definitely holds the title for the most famous Hollywood momager. The toxic Hollywood momager will unfortunately continue to be a thing as long as there are more child stars in the industry. It's natural for parents to want to support and uplift their children in their dreams, but that also comes with boundaries. These children are your kids and not your clients, so don't treat them like clients that need to be micromanaged and scrutinized every second. Not allowing children to be kids, especially in a dark and heavy industry like the entertainment, can be detrimental to their mental and physical health in the future if those issues haven't already started developing. Exploiting child stars for the sake of a check, fame, and to live vicariously through them is disgusting and should definitely be illegal. We have seen what can happen through stars like Amanda Bynes, Lindsay Lohan, Britney Spears, and a lot more celebrities. I'm hoping that stricter laws are put into place for the entertainment field to protect child stars from mental and physical health issues in the future. And I also hope those toxic showbiz parents understand that there needs to be boundaries when managing your child's career. Alright, well that's all I have for today's discussion. Comment down below what you think of this topic of toxic showbiz parents and momagers. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.